My next guest has more than 36 million views and 232,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, thanks to viral videos like this one. It's called Company's Coming.
We gotta clean the house now, people! I want this place looking like Disney on Ice in 1 minute. Terry, if you haven't made your bed, throw it away. It's too late to make it now. Company is coming. Get rid of the couches. We can't let people know we said.
That's internet sensation, comedian, impressionist Chris Fleming, playing the character of Gayle Waters, a hyper-competitive stay-at-home mom whose world is based partially on people Fleming says he encountered in his hometown of Stowe, Massachusetts. His one-hour stand-up special, Showpig, is now available on YouTube. You can also see him in the upcoming Netflix film, The Last Laugh, starring Richard Dreyfuss and Chevy Chase, as well as the new season of Comedy Central's Corporate. Chris Fleming joined me yesterday. Chris, nice to see you.
Great to see you again, Jim.
So, right, you were on the radio.
Well, we changed.
We bonded incredibly, would you not say?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've been sketching you in that whole time. That's what I did in my time off.
Really? And
charcoal.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
I did pencil.
In the parking garage.
So, I went to a bunch of my friends this weekend, knowing you were on, and said, so what do you think, Chris Fleming? Most of them actually had heard of you. I know it's shocking. But for the few who didn't, they said, describe him to me, and I have to admit, I could not. Could you help me describe yourself and your work?
Well, yeah, okay. I think there's a whimsy to it. I try to. I mean, I do characters. I do song and dance. I got a nice bouffant here.
I love that look.
I got the show pony. I changed from earlier today. I'm basically in a tankini.
So you really can't describe yourself. Now, here's the deal.
I can't.
You're a local kid, as I said, Stowe, Massachusetts, right? Here's a quiz for you. I thought to liven up the festivities.
Okay.
What do Hal Gill, former NHL player, Greg Hill, big local DJ, he knows, Clive Whedon, some pro basketball player, and you have in common?
We all went to Neshoba Regional High School.
What does it feel like to be the most famous? You are probably the most famous person that's ever graduated from Neshoba Regional. What do you think about that?
Well, Greg Hill regionally is a titan.
He's pretty big, yeah.
That is very flattering that you said that.
To be in the top 4?
Yeah. Well, there's also a woman who wrote a book about blacking out drinking in high school.
Smashing or
something?
Yeah, I didn't include that because I never heard. How formative was that Stowe kind of thing for you?
It was formative.
It was?
Oh, my God. I mean, of course it was. You know, it's nice to be back, actually. It's nice to hear the Mighty Mighty Bosstones again on the radio.
Yeah.
Not a lot of regions really hit that.
But it's not just that area. Your family, obviously, was a huge part of your deal. In fact, I didn't know when I originally seen it in one of the classic scenes, in one of your early fine works, your mother plays one of your neighbors. Is that not correct?
That's correct. She actually has a huge, and we went on tour with that show.
With your mother?
Yeah, and my dad actually would play my husband in the show, his legs, and I would voice the legs. I'd give him this very...
Do you want to see the scene with your mother?
I'd love to see that.
Here's a little piece of that right now.
Yeah.
But frankly, it's been a little difficult to trust you since that episode last summer.
And what was that?
The one where you faked your own death to have an edible arrangement sent to your home?
You watch your mouth in my house, Bonnie.
It's Bonnie's house, Gayle.
You know, it's pathetic. I've seen that thing about 10 times, and I laugh every time. That's sad.
No, that's not sad. No,
really
no, I like that you do.
So for those who don't know who Gayle Waters is, who is Gayle Waters, please, there?
Okay, so she's in a perpetual state of power walking. She is she's the she-king of her town, Northbred, Massachusetts. You know, she's ruthless. She has children named after NPR personalities,
Terry Gross
Waters, and Ira Glass Waters. She's in incredible physical condition. She has incredible abs, her core strength, and she's an incredible woman.
She looks very much like you, by the way. How many Gayles did you do?
40 episodes.
40. And now, when you stopped, there's a lot of upset when you stopped, correct?
I still get messages around 4 a.m., like most days, about where's the new Gayle.
Now, the line that I hear coming from you in interviews, this is just a hiatus, but here's my thesis, even though I don't know you I know your work, I don't know you from a hole in the wall.
You keep saying you don't know me. We know each other.
Well, in that kind of way we do.
Yes.
Here's my thesis.
People will say we're in love.
Just like John Hamm left Mad Men. because he didn't want to be Don Draper for life.
Yeah.
That's why you left Gayle.
Completely.
Is that not what it is?
Oh yeah,
it is.
I mean, it's just I was in CVS and people were just like Gayle, and it's just
that was it. Really?
Yeah, yeah.
And you've also channeled some really important people, like the Betsy DeVos thing, which I've watched a lot. That I understand because they obviously look a lot alike.
Yeah.
I don't quite. You do Steve Bannon too.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand what was the connect. What was the Steve Bannon connection? Why did you decide to do that?
So I saw his 60 Minutes interview with Charlie Rose, and
What's going on with him, by the way?
nothing good.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
So he was doing this. He was just basically decomposing in the interview, but his confidence. He was so smug, and he had like this he was dressed like in everything that Tom Cruise wore in every Mission Impossible movie, all at once, and it was just so abysmal. And like he had blue lips. Terrible blood circulation. It looks like he'd been living off hamburger buns exclusively since Y2K. And so I made this video in which like a raven lands on his shoulder and like his body parts are falling off throughout it.
But I think you captured him. We have a little piece of that too.
Oh, please.
Here is Chris Fleming as sort of channeling Steve Bannon. Here it is.
Donald Trump knows that libertarians are the opposite of Cinderella, in that small animals and birds hinder their everyday life. Hillary Clinton didn't know that, and that's why we're going to win in 2020.
That's a really thoughtful portrayal. I mean that. You really don't you think you captured the essence of him?
It was actually, it was hard to shake him after a while. Like I really got into it.
You almost became him.
Yeah, I didn't know who I was. And yeah.
And what was the appeal of Betsy DeVos? Because I know a lot of people feel really good about her in America too. So
God.
what was that about?
Just the first interview I ever saw her do, the first hearing, that I ever saw her, it was just clear that she had never seen a school before, and so and the fact that we are carbon copies of one another.
You really are.
It's
unbelievable.
It was just a duty.
The blonde look.
Same glasses
I know,
too.
It was amazing. So for the uninitiated, can we end where we sort of started? Where does all this? It's rather odd. Where does all this odd Chris Fleming stuff come from? What's the genesis of all this kind of stuff?
The genesis of all this.
The genesis. That means where does it come from?
Oh, no, right.
Okay.
No, I do. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
You
went
I'm
to
from
the
the woods. I don't.
Rachel.
Yeah. All we did was look at pictures of Hal Gill. Sorry, I've never. When you said Genesis, I know. I thought you meant what's the Phil Collins of it. I didn't know.
He is too.
Yeah.
Bold too.
I think it's just spilling my head and my heart out in whatever way, and chasing any fanciful thoughts that I have at that time in my life, and trying to assemble some kind of portfolio based around that.
And you're doing this Chevy Chase, Richard Dreyfuss? What are you doing? I mean, that's like, what is that about?
A lot of Velcro shoes in that cast.
Is that really true?
Yeah.
That's huge, by the way, is it not?
It was really fun. So I opened for, Dreyfuss plays a comedian, and I play his opener in this horrible, outside of Vegas, decrepit town, and we're performing for all these ghastly libertarians, and I have a mental breakdown on stage with the heckler who's like...
Chevy Chase still alive in the movie? Or is
he actually, for one scene, I had to perform stand-up for him, and they just lit his face, like a spotlight on his grimacing face, and I had to perform for like a good hour, improvised stand-up to a scowling comedy giant. This trilobite had to face down Chevy Chase, and I feel like I can do anything after that.
I'd ask you what the genesis of that was, but I don't want to go through that again.
And again, I would need a thesaurus.
Chris Fleming, whatever it is. It's great to see you.
Great to see you,
Congratulations on everything. You're
Thank
fabulous.
you.
If you want to see Chris in person, he'll be performing at the Wilbur in Boston on September 15th. For more information, visit thewilbur.com or just go to his YouTube channel.